Now it's time for Toker Talk Radio, the voice of the marijuana nation.
What are you people? On dope?
Where you can toke.
I inhale frequently.
Or you can talk.
I experimented with marijuana and didn't inhale.
Or you can toke and talk.
10 federal criminal penalties for possession of up to 1 ounce of marijuana.
While we talk about toke on Toker Talk Radio.
So, by the way, when it comes to pot, if you're 40 years old, you live in a log cabin in Oregon, you got 12 giant pot plants in your backyard, have a ball.
Live from beautiful Portland, Oregon at Rolla J Studios.
Hey, this is great. Yes, Cannabis.
Plus your calls live at 971-533-7111.
They're walking on their pants with their cap on backwards, listening to Enema Man and Snoopy Poop Dog.
What's to keep somebody from getting all potted up on weed and then getting behind the wheel? Gateway theory doesn't work. It's a reality.
Holland, is it real? Don't tease me.
We're locking up people that take a couple of puffs of marijuana, and the next thing you know, they got 10 years.
And now, here's your host, the guru of ganja graphics, the sultan of sativa statistics, and the worst nightmare of a reefer mad prohibitionist. A polite, perspicacious, productive pothead with a propensity for PowerPoint. Radical Russ Belville.
All right, good day, tokers and tokettes and non-token lovers of liberty. We made it to hour 2. It's 4:02 in the Pacific time zone. Hanging out here with Bacon Dan and a great doobie. Hey, Dan.
Hello.
That mic's working.
That mic's working quite nicely.
So we had a guest in the studio that y'all didn't get to meet, and you may get to meet him at a later time, but Dan's out there recruiting. He's hustling.
I am. It's especially, with the vote going through, it just calls for it, man. Like, there's so much going on. I can't believe my first Cannabis Cup's going to be right here in Portland.
Yeah, Portland Cannabis Cup coming up in July, and going to be pretty exciting. We go legal July 1st, and then a week or two later, there's going to be a Cannabis Cup.
Yep, that's amazing.
And it's always, I've done I've done every domestic Cannabis Cup except the first one in Detroit.
Right.
And every time you do these cups, it's like, oh, you got to get a plane ticket, you got to get a hotel, you got to get a... No. Yeah. Not this time. In fact, after Cannabis Cup, we'll be having after parties at our favorite places.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I can only imagine what karaoke from hell is going to be like with Cannabis Cup. I will be the happiest camper in the world.
So we are going to have all sorts of special stuff going around the Cannabis Cup happening in July, but that's not the first Cannabis Cup coming up. Here it is December, and starting in February is our first events. February 6th and 7th, you've got the Cannabis Cup happening in San Bernardino, the Southern California Cannabis Cup.
And a really good song by Frank Zappa as well.
San Bernardino?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
Did not remember that one. And then the week after is the International Cannabis Business Conference in San Francisco.
Ooh.
At the Embarcadero, which is like right there in the financial district.
Nice.
Like walk out of the hotel and there's the pyramid and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's far out.
Confirmed speakers for the International Cannabis Business Conference include Ethan Nadelman from Drug Policy Alliance, who's awesome. Amanda Ryman from Drug Policy Alliance, who is also awesome. And by the way, Amanda and others, I've been recruited into, or actually this group kind of just formed. So the whole Kevin Sabet thing I did.
Yes.
Right, going after Sabet for the Oregon Marijuana Tour, right? Well, I was just doing this kind of like investigative journalism on a personal basis because, fuck you, you get government tax money to go spread prohibition, and I have to scrape and beg for every cent.
And he's a douche.
Well, beside being a douche, but I have to scrape and beg for every cent to be able to spread the message of legalization.
Right.
That doesn't seem quite fair. And so I was really just doing it because I just like needling Kevin Sabet, right? I just like doing it, right? What turns out as I started, turning over these rocks and seeing the little bugs scurry from all the investigations is that we kind of uncovered a systematic abuse of government funds by these drug warriors in their anti-legalization campaigns. So much so that Show Me Cannabis, the guy in Missouri, the group in Missouri, their research director and I have been talking, been working up, he has evidence that he believes shows that they've done some more of these kind of shenanigans.
God.
So this is all coalesced into this working group. There's about, maybe 12 or 15 of us online now. And we're all corresponding and sharing documents and information that could lead to, and this is where Amanda Ryman comes in, bringing in the legal team from the Drug Policy Alliance to issue like an official report and file charges and lawsuits.
Oh, hell yes.
On this stuff.
Oh, hell yes. That would be fucking awesome.
So I'm like, cool. And they're like, we need links to all your articles and all your documents. I'm like, done. Absolutely. So I'm having a lot of fun with that. And then another confirmed speaker, and as far as I'm concerned, the home run hitter, and you know, after having mentioned Ethan Nadelman, who I already think is a home run hitter,
right?
Now I'm really, you know, giving high praise, and that is Dr. Carl Hart from Columbia University will be speaking at the International Cannabis Business Conference. We will be there. If you don't remember Dr. Carl Hart, he is the first African-American tenured professor of sciences at Columbia. He's the fellow with the long black dreadlocks that you see on the TV arguing so persuasively for our side. And kind of an unimpeachable source in a lot of ways because, like most black men in America, he's come up, you know, under the thumb of police oppression. And so he kind of has a certain perspective on how the drug war, you know, exacerbates that already racist situation.
Yeah.
So we will be having the speakers at this event will be interviewing with us at our booth at the event. We will have a booth. Now, we can't stream from in the event. I can't show you their actual speeches.
Right.
But when they get done with their speeches, they'll come back out and we'll do a 12-minute.
Oh, that's fantastic, man.
So that'd be cool. So that's Valentine's Day weekend, which is also cool because I'll have my flight and hotel covered there at the Hyatt, and only have to pay extra to take Iva down there.
Nice.
We can have a nice Valentine's weekend for the cost of just one plane ticket.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
So we got that happening in February. We got more stuff coming up, but stay tuned. We'll tell you more about it as we continue the hour 2.
Sir, do you think there will or should come a time for us to discuss the possibility of legalization, regulation, and control of all drugs, thereby doing away with the violent criminal market as well as a major source of funding for international terrorism? Thank you so much for your time, Mr. President.
Well, I think this is an entirely legitimate topic for debate.
Name the time and place, Mr. President. Radical Russ has been prepping for this debate full-time since 2005. The Russ Belville Show.
.420 Radio. Tune in, turn on, get highly educated.
Hey, this is Willie Nelson, or Normal. And I smoke pot and I like it a lot. I learned a long time ago that marijuana is a lot safer than alcohol. There's nothing wrong with the responsible use of marijuana by adults. It's time we stopped arresting and started respecting those who smoke marijuana responsibly. To learn what you can do to help, contact Normal at norml.org or call toll-free 888-67-NORMAL.
A cannabis broadcast, replaying Fridays at 10 Pacific on 420radio.org. 5 of the last 9 major party candidates to run for president, 3 of the last 9 vice presidential candidates, and the last 3 two-term presidents have all smoked pot. Marijuana, the gateway drug to the White House. This is the Russ Belville Show.
It's a shame when somebody shows diamonds and pearls to those who don't. This goes out to the wealthy homes, and under the moonlight there's a road to a place for the struggling, where people treat you like a human being, free of racism and other things, free from money and the imagery.
Oh yeah, welcome back. That's music from Revolution with Wake Up Call. It's 10 after the hour here at Rolla J Studios in beautiful Potland, Oregon, the home of marijuana. That's right, we are going to be America's cannabis capital as our legalization kicks in, and I do still stand by it as being the best legalization in the state. However, there's still a lot of things we gotta fix.
Yes.
Oh, let me get Bacon Dan back in there. There
I'm back.
He's back. There's still a lot of things we got to fix. And I showed this picture earlier. I'm going to bring this up in a little better detail. But there's an actual website you can go to that will provide you the 1,000-foot radius of Oregon, like 1,000-foot radius of within a school anywhere in Oregon. You just plug in your address, and it'll tell you where you're at, right? So I made up this chart, this little map, and I plugged my address into it. The address right here at Rolla J Studios. And I can't really point it to you on the map, but it's kind of just about dead center. A little off to the left, maybe. Anyway, every one of those little purple and blue dots on that map is the 1,000-foot radius zone around a school in Portland, Oregon. On both sides, pretty much both sides of the river. Okay? So, anywhere that's in a decent place to live has a fairly good chance. Now, this box here, where it's the bottom right box legend there,
yes,
there's pretty much no dots in there. So if you want to live in Southeast Felony Flats,
yeah, fuck that. I don't even go past 82nd unless I'm like really forced to.
There you go. So any place decent to live is going to be somewhere near a school. So like your choice is you can either grow at home or live near a school.
Yeah.
So right, that's still messed up. Now in the story in the Oregonian that discussed this, they talked to this was from a forum that they held recently that included Rob Bovet from Associated Oregon Counties, Patridge from the OLCC, and Dave Kopelak from Measure 91. He's one of the lawyers that helped write it. And they explained that, yeah, when we go legal on July 1st, you can have 8 ounces at home and grow 4 plants at your household. Per household, not per adult, per household. But you can't grow those 4 plants if you're within 1,000 feet of a school because the law about 1,000 feet in a school still applies, right? So some people will get to grow 4 plants at their home. But people who live in those little purple spots will not be able to. So Kopelak explained that, hey, I don't see any logical reason why someone who lives 1,025 feet from a school could have marijuana plants and someone lives 975 feet couldn't. As I put it on this map, you can still use and possess marijuana in your home, but you can't grow it because children are learning nearby. Because really,
that's nuts.
Well, there's children in a school over there, so you can't have pot plants in your basement. Why?
Yeah.
Like we're inviting the school kids. Hey, kids, come check out my basement. Oops, I forgot about my pot plants there. What the hell is the reasoning behind this? But if you want to brew beer within 1,000 feet of a school, that's still cool.
Yep.
It's just, why? Well, I know why. They couldn't tackle it because it's a political thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't come into Measure 91 and write in, hey, it's okay to do this within 1,000 feet of school, because then that gets attacked politically. But now that it's time to set regulations, here's one that I think we should be fighting for, is that the right to grow at home should not be dependent on your proximity to anything else. If it's a right to grow at home, it's a right to grow at home.
Right.
or it's not, right? It's a privilege if you can only do it in certain places. So that's one that I think we ought to fight for. Because as this map shows you, there's a whole bunch of places you could live in Portland, Oregon, where you wouldn't be able to grow your own marijuana. And of course, what does that do? Well, that either makes you a criminal if you do grow your own marijuana, either purposefully or accidentally because you heard, hey, it's legal now, and you went and bought some lights and started growing, and you had no idea you lived within 1,000 feet of a school. That's entirely possible.
Right.
Or you motivate people to want to, shop from black market or people that are growing their own that supply to their friends that can't. Let everyone who wants to grow be able to grow. Now, the next thing that needs to be tackled, and this was brought up in a ABC News article that I was reading, and I noticed it because it featured a picture of Chef Chris Lanter. Chris Lanter is the chef who caters the Normal Aspen Legal Seminar every year.
Oh, nice.
So I've met and talked to the guy 2 or 3, 4 times, and Jesus, man, what a cook! Oh my God! Like I'm not really one of them fancy food guys,
Right.
Big plate, small food, bunch of stripes painted on it. I could give a fuck, right? Does it taste good? Is it good, right?
Right.
This guy, oh my God, it's some foods that's pretty damn sinful.
That's awesome.
And he's talking about, the story talks about how he's doing this demonstration on how to cook with marijuana, but he can't use any marijuana. He's in freaking Aspen, Colorado, charging $250 for these people to come in and learn how to do this, but he can't actually use marijuana in the place because Colorado's, like the other legal states, have all these laws against you can't publicly display it.
Right, right.
Because God forbid somebody sees something that's legal. How does that make any sense? We're censoring the viewing of a legal product.
Yep.
Why? I don't know.
The children?
The children, probably. Probably the children. The hell? So guys have to teach classes on marijuana cooking without actually using marijuana. Now, this also leads to the discussion about a public place to use cannabis, right? On that little graphic that I put up just a second ago, I put, legality is great, equality is better.
Absolutely.
Right? And we are right now in the Reconstruction era, right? Consider marijuana prohibition the Civil War. And now we're in Reconstruction. Sure, black people are free, but they ain't equal. As if, they're not even equal yet. It's 145 years later and they're still getting killed by lynch mobs. But I digress. We need to address our equality. And one of the things we definitely need to fight for, strongly need to fight for, is a public place to be able to use marijuana. If their concern is about whether or not people are going to be driving under the influence of marijuana, then they need to explain why we don't have valets at bars. Breathalyzer valet. You give your key to the valet, you go into the bar, you can't get your keys back from the valet until you blow below 0.8 on a breathalyzer. Nobody ever suggests that, though. We all just kind of accept, hey, there's bars, people drive their cars there, and then they drive home, and we trust them not to drink. Well, why can't we exhibit that level of trust in people using something far safer and less impairing? Give us a place to smoke weed. Now, there can be rules around that. Maybe we don't let places that serve alcohol also serve weed. There's an argument against that, right? The combination of the two makes you really impaired.
Yes.
Right? Like the typical is, 2-to-1 crash risk if you're high, 13-to-1 crash risk if you're drunk, 24-to-1 crash risk if you're both.
Yeah.
So it's, mixing the two is probably not a good idea. So, all right, I would accept that. You know what? I would actually welcome it. I would prefer being in a room that doesn't have drunks in it. That'd be great for me. Now, maybe some people like to both drink and smoke, and that's a problem, but hey, let's at least get a smoke bar somewhere. These things are going to have to be addressed. Smoke hotels. All these laws and all this crusade that's been going on against tobacco smokers, and as it riled up throughout the 2000s, I warned our people, I warned pot smokers, don't get on board with all this anti-smoking, anti-tobacco shit because it's going to bite us when we make it legal.
Yep.
Sure enough, it is. All these no smoking laws. I'm often curious about, a lot of states that have those no smoking laws, they have a rule where it's an exception where if you're a play, like if you're an artistic endeavor,
yep,
you can smoke on stage.
Yes.
If you're Stanley Kowalski in Streetcar Named Desire, you get to smoke a cigarette, right?
Well, that was like Mitch Hedberg. That was part of his act. He said he was on stage somewhere, and they're like, I can't smoke in a public thing unless it's part of my play. So this pipe is now part of my act. And just lights up right on stage.
And so I'm thinking, this has been a part of my dream, but we would have Rolla J Studios as a smoke lounge.
Oh,
do our shows live, and then cut to the audience at least once or twice a show so that they're part of the show and thereby covered by the exception of being an artistic endeavor.
Yeah. I mean, hell, if they can open up a cat bar here, it's a cat bar here in Portland, or a cat coffee shop. Like, people pay to go in and drink and play with cats. If they can do that, we can have a fucking smoke bar.
We can have a smoke bar, can't we? I think you're right. So we'll keep our eye on that and other issues as we continue legalizing marijuana in the state of Oregon. The Russ Belville Show will be your number one source for in-the-know information about Oregon legalization.
From now on, you will speak only when spoken to.
Sir, yes, sir. All right, it's 4:20. I do believe we have a mission. If we should choose to accept it, we have to vape this vape pen before it explodes or something.
Yes. It's a tough life, but someone's got to do it.
.420 Radio, the world's voice of marijuana legalization.
There's so much I worry about as a mom. Stephen Harper thinks that organized crime should continue to profit from marijuana prohibition. Imagine regulating marijuana like alcohol and cigarettes with a strong and clear educational message, making it more difficult for my kids and your kids to access. Drug dealers don't ask for ID. Stephen Harper does not have the kind of judgment we need to protect our children, authorized by the Normal Women.
Despite strong public support for medical cannabis, decriminalization, and legalization in Georgia, the state spends $121 million every year to arrest, prosecute, and imprison Georgians for simple possession. Each year, the state of Georgia spends less on driver services, agriculture, and forestry combined. What else can $121 million a year do in Georgia? With that much money, the state could hire and keep 3,000 more teachers, improve roads and bridges, provide tax relief for small businesses, repair aging sewage systems, or lower taxes. But right now, that's millions of dollars of your tax money wasted on failed enforcement. Tell your representative you're tired of wasteful spending and ask them to end cannabis prohibition. Join the conversation at www.peachtreenormal.org. Peachtree Normal is a proud affiliate of NORML, the national organization for the reform of marijuana laws.
Get.Buzz. .Buzz is the internet platform that fuels community interest, excitement, and new experiences. .Buzz is the premier online destination for internet users seeking the latest news on a variety of topics. .Buzz appeals to groups active in blogging, communications, journalism, advertising, and marketing. .Buzz offers registrants a stronger alternative to the shrinking namespace of existing top-level domain names, such as .com, .net, and .org. Get your name now at get.buzz.
Everyone knows music and marijuana go together, so let's wind up our 20 after break with the Russ Belville Show's Daily Toker Tunes, the best in pod-safe 420 music from around the web. Today is Irie Wednesday, featuring reggae, ska, and other world music genres. Now, sit back and enjoy your Daily Toker Tunes.
All right, welcome back. Time for us to get into our Irie Wednesday tunes. Gordon Green is unable to call in today, unfortunately, but he left us some great music from Anna Tijoux, a French artist, and the tune is entitled 1977. 1977, let's see. Oh, yes, I think I saw my first boobie in 1977.
In 1977, I wouldn't be born for another 7 years.
Wow. Youngsters. All right, here it is, Anna Tijoux with 1977.
Cuando las serpientes evolucionaron, más rápido que muchos venenos. Noten la diferencia entre una serpiente venenosa y otra que no lo es por las marcas que deja.
1970, 1970, 1970, 1970. Nací un día de junio del año 77, planeta Mercurio y el año de la serpiente. Signo patente tatuado y en mi frente que en el vientre de mi madre marcaba el paso siguiente. Nacer, llorar sin anestesia en la camilla. Mi padre solo dijo es Ana María. Sí sería el primer llanto que me probaría, que mandó las heridas y dándome la batería. Solía ser entonces como un libro abierto, pero leí la letra pequeña del texto, como un arquitecto construyendo cada efecto. Correcto, incorrecto, se aprende todo al respecto. Saber que algunas personas quieren el daño, subir peldaño toma tiempo, toma años. Con mi peluche mirando lo cotidiano, dibujos transformaban el invierno en gran verano. Papá me regaló bajo mi insistencia un juego que trataba de compartir la solvencia, pero en el patio hicieron la competencia. Fue cuando sentí mi primera impotencia. 1970 y 1970 y 1970 1977, no me diga no, no lo presiento. Todo lo que cambia lo hará diferente en el año que nació la serpiente. 1977, no me diga no, que no lo presiento. Todo lo que cambia lo hará diferente en el año que nació la serpiente. Mi adolescencia fue una etapa bizarra. El cuerpo es batería y la cabeza guitarra. La orquesta narra una tonada quebrada para la mirada de una niña que solo talla espada. Hormona disparada, sobrepobladas de información que cambian temporadas. Caminas encrucijada, cada cual en su morada preparaba la carnada. La sagrada diablada de mirada encabronada. Mi fila la verdad nunca buscó su silla. Mi búsqueda fue mero proceso de pura pila. Pupila de poeta que marcó nuestra saliva. En la cordillera que miraba la salida. La parada militar de paso monótono. Colores policromos, los uniformes de poco tono. De tono mi cuestionamiento, la voz y sonó, no. Mi primera rima que sonó y me enroló. Mi búsqueda no fue para mi cosa de escenario. Fue algo necesario y que marcaba ya mi fallo. Así que tú hablas más de lo necesario. Fue cuando entendí que todos quieren ser corsario. 1970 y 1970 y 1970 1977, no me diga no, no lo presiento. Todo lo que cambia lo hará diferente en el año que nació la serpiente. 1977, no me diga no, que no lo presiento. Todo lo que cambia lo hará diferente en el año que nació la serpiente.
You can get 420 Radio on the go with our Shoutcast stream for all internet-enabled media players. Go to rad-r.us/420shout or just click the Shoutcast icon below the live radio feed at 420radio.org. The law offices of Omar Figueroa would like to remind you to stand up for your rights. If you're detained or arrested, treat law enforcement with respect and stand up for your rights by repeating, "I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search and seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to speak with my attorney." Please contact the law offices of Omar Figueroa at 415-489-0420 or 707-829-0215 or on the web at omarfigueroa.com. Marijuana Compassion and Common Sense, replaying Tuesdays at 10 Pacific on 420radio.org. Are you a hypocrite? If you live a closeted cannabis lifestyle, you are. Read about 7 people living a closeted cannabis lifestyle who are on the verge of coming out in The Hypocrites by Mara K. Eaton. Available at areyouahypocrite.net. You can purchase the book on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, also available on iTunes. Check out Mara K. Eaton on Facebook as well. Learn more at areyouahypocrite.net.
I love to smoke a marijuana. They wanna make me a monster, cause I love to meditate on a natural mystic life. Yeah, I'm gonna smoke a marijuana. I can't be conquered. A natural remedy, I keep it nice and proper.
Welcome back. That's Jaw Elect with Nice and Proper. We're sitting here with Bacon Dan in the house.
Hello.
And just talking about how wonderful it's going to be being here in Potland, Oregon. We will truly be Potland.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the tourism alone here, you know, given Portlandia and our food scene, our beer scene, and our spirits and wine too. I mean, it's a place, it's an adult playground here.
That's a good way to put it. Hey, do you know what this is that we're smoking on?
I am not sure, but it is fucking delicious.
Our friend left it for us.
Yeah.
I've often explained Portland as a city for people who are sensual. And I don't mean that in the sex sensual word alone. I mean that people who enjoy their senses, hedonists.
Oh, absolutely.
Food, wine, beer, nature, sex, weed,
everything.
We got it all. If you're into the senses, man, this is the place to be. So we're talking about how Portland is just bound to become America's cannabis capital. We are going to be the place to be. And part of the reason why is that Portland is already pretty damn high.
Yes.
And I mean high in the right way. Like, Denver's got this whole Rocky Mountain High, Mile High City, and all that, right? But Denver itself, when you're there and you're among the people in the city, is a pretty normal American city. And I've been to 40 of them now, and it's like a lot of them.
Right.
Right? Denver, Dallas, what's the difference really, right? You got some people with Western type clothing. It's fairly flat most of the place.
Right.
You look, and there's buildings and stuff. All right. So, but Portland is not. Portland is distinctly not like any other American city. And we were discussing some of these things. You mentioned Portlandia. We got the Voodoo Donuts chain.
We have the Unipiper.
That's
and
right.
I'm friends with him, and he's a really cool dude. We actually put a challenge out to Rowdy Roddy Piper to come on Foreman's show.
Oh.
And there's this guy in Australia called the Bad Piper who also plays flaming bagpipes.
Okay.
And we're gonna do
on a unicycle.
No, he's not on a unicycle.
Oh, he's not. Oh.
No, the Bad Piper. He was on Australia's Got Talent, and he did Thunderstruck on flaming bagpipes.
Now, see, I got to make sure people understand that when we say Unipiper, we mean UNI, like unicycle.
Yes.
Not UNA, like Unabomber.
Right, no. He rides a unicycle
I
wearing
mean, you'll
a
imagine
kilt,
this guy in a hoodie and these glasses.
and he wears a Darth Vader helmet, and he plays flaming bagpipes.
So that's Portland, right? And so we're going to add legal.
Yeah.
We're going to add legal weed to that.
Oh my God, it's going to be... We have a lot of parades here in Portland. If you thought they were amazing before, now that it's legal, it's going to get 10 times more fun.
And some of the other weird things we're talking about, you mentioned the cat bar.
Cat bar, yep.
A bar. Is it like alcohol bar?
Yeah. And then they have cats that are adoption, and up for adoption, you can go in there and play with the kitties.
And
they make
take one home?
Well, you can kind of set up for the adoption later,
adoption.
but they will be watching you, make sure you're not too drunk to play with the cats and shit. And we also have a Doctor Who themed bar. We have a Lovecraft bar.
Mm-hmm.
We have a vegan strip club. We actually have 2 of them.
2 vegan strip clubs. If you don't like the one vegan strip club, you can check out the competitor.
And the competitor one is not only vegan, but it's witch themed as well.
A Wiccan vegan strip club.
Yes.
Very good. And we also mentioned the Belmont Goats at Lentz.
Yes, the Belmont Goats have left their spot next to the Green Dragon and moved out to outer Portland in the Lentz neighborhood. But they are still known as, it's almost like the artist formerly known as Prince, or the Belmont Goats in Lentz, formerly of Belmont. Or
something like that. The Lentz Goats, formerly known as Belmont Goats.
Yeah.
No, they're still the Belmont Goats.
Yep.
They're just at Lentz. And what we mean here is Belmont is a street, and it runs through both West and East Portland. And on the east side of Portland, toward the river in the downtown east side, which is kind of industrial, kind of business area, right? There is an empty block. Like there is in a lot of cities, right? There'd be the empty block and some mounds of concrete and some dirt that is dug up here or whatever, just a empty lot. How did the goats get in this lot?
They were brought in basically to clear the lot.
That's it.
And people fell in love with them because it was a totally overgrown lot. And a lot of times, especially here in the Pacific Northwest, we have people who rent out goats.
We have goat renters, folks.
And they make a good living. I mean, and goats are cool. Their eyes are kind of creepy, but they're cool.
Their eyes are satanic. Are you kidding?
Actually, a really fun game for all the stoners out there. Goat Simulator is the funnest. You basically, it's like you control a goat and he licks people, but his tongue sticks to them, and you actually have to destroy everything around you. It's ridiculous, but it's so fucking fun.
So they brought the goats in because we often have blackberry bushes everywhere.
Yes, and which is weird that it's considered a weed here.
It's an invasive species.
And the goats love it, so they will eat it right down to the ground. and people got to be like they loved having it in the neighborhood because the neighborhood was going through gentrification and stuff like that, and they just became a centered thing, and they had this entire block, and
they started building like goat habitat for them and things to climb on and shit.
And they have names. Chester, the big white one, he's really cool. We had a few on the Ed Foreman show, actually. One named Cooper, who's an awesome goat. That is a cool, like, I could walk past there and he'd scratch at me, like, leans in the fence. And then let people go in and pet the goats. And it was like therapy for people.
Sure.
But the guy who owned the lot finally sold it to developers. They're going to call it the goat blocks. I'm like, or you could just keep the goats
Keep
there.
the goats?
But yeah, I'm friends with one of the girls who takes care of them too. It's So we do have a lot of weird stuff here.
So we have goats, we have city goats, and we're adding legal weed.
Yes. And can you imagine the lines are already long at ground control as it is?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Ground control is a bar, folks, that has old school video games and pinball. Like 2 floors, 3 floors? 2 floors.
Yeah. And we have more pinball machines, I think, per capita than any other city. I mean, there is pinball everywhere in Portland.
That's true.
It's pretty fantastic.
I'll play a pinball game now and then, but now that I think about it, you're right. Just about everywhere you go, there's pinball. And so we're adding legal weed to that. And then the other thing we've got professional snuggling. Although I did see an Atlanta professional snuggler come upon.
Well, and the cuddler who...
Snuggler or cuddler?
Cuddler. Well, that's what we call her, the cuddler, because she was on the Foreman show.
It's like the Riddler.
Yeah, and she was dating the free throw guy.
That's right.
No longer. That ended pretty badly. But yeah, no, it's weird. Like, and then somebody left a comment on their page that was like, "Can I choose who I cuddle with? Like, can it at least be an 8? Because if I have to pay $60 an hour to cuddle with like a 4, I'm gonna be really disappointed." And I laughed my ass off at that because. I mean, yeah, it's kind of understandable, but it's like, wow, that takes some balls to actually say that.
So, yeah, we've got professional cuddlers. We've got hot tub rental by the hour.
Which is the creepiest fucking thing. It is like, shit goes in there. Like, if you go in there with a black light, you'd be blinded.
Yep, that's Portland, Oregon, and we're adding legal weed to that. So it's a beautiful thing. We will keep posted on how it happens and how it breaks down. But, my ultimate dream, of course, is the weed factory. I want to have a grow, process, retail, and studio all in one place.
Ooh, that'd be fantastic.
And I want to bring in tourists and lead them on a tour. Oh, and a gift shop and a museum.
Oh, a gift shop, absolutely.
So lead them on a tour through a grow. Here's what a seedling looks like. Here's what a vegetating plant looks like. Here's what, flowering plants look like. Here's what it looks like when it's first harvested. Here's what it looks like when the guys are trimming it. Here's what it looks like when it's baked into a pie. Here's what it looks like when you're processing it into BHO.
Yep.
Here's what it looks like when it's finally packaged and in ready for you to buy.
Oh man.
Here, get a t-shirt. Here, get a little snow globe.
You need to get a bobblehead of you.
Here, get a awesome. Radical Russ bobblehead. And at the end of the tour, if you like, you can step into this studio.
Oh my god.
Be a part of the show.
That
where you're able to consume.
That's like
that's the dream.
It's like a Hershey Park for stoners.
There we go. And I call it the weed factory because when I was a kid growing up in Nampa, we had the cheese factory, which was a cheese factory.
Like literally a cheese
factory. There was like big vats, industrial vats of milk that were being stirred. Guys in white suits with beard and hair covers running around with big paddles stirring it around. And then there was blocks of cheese that were getting cut up. And then there's a little thing that packages up the cheese. And then you get out and you'd be in a you'd think this would be in Wisconsin, right? And then you get out and there's the gift shop where you can buy cheese.
Oh, that's kind of like the Tillamook factory then.
Yeah, so yeah.
Or like the Ben & Jerry's factory. Now, that's a cool tour though.
Very much. And so I'm thinking, that's what needs to happen. We need to have a weed factory. So,
absolutely.
If you've got, $150,000, $200,000, send it my way. You can find me, Radical Russ, on all social media. $200,000 would be fine.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll start with $200K, and we'll go from there.
Can we make Ganja John one of the tour guides? Because
oh God, no.
God, no. I would love that because John would be like, "Yeah, this is what's going on. Shut up and just keep following me this way." That would be great. And John, I love you, but you would make the greatest tour guide ever because at some point you just get tired of them and you're like, "All right, just." Do whatever.
And then a museum. I also want to have a museum part, which is basically a history of Prohibition. kind of like the archive.
Oh, see, I thought you meant it was gonna be like a museum of you.
No,
we'll like have animatronic crosses like getting angry and everything.
Why I oughta? No.
Oh no, actually, that would be cool. Like, that would really be cool, and especially given how there's so many comedians, who have either bits or about pot or do smoke it. You could have like a kind of like a running video clip going, kind of like they do at Karaoke from Hell. Like have the DVDs of all the different clips and people talking about it. And,
sure, do that. Have and having a studio where a consistent audience of tourists would be coming through.
Yeah.
We could have all sorts of shows. We could have cooking shows. We could have all sorts of things going on.
Oh, that would be fantastic. Yeah. See, that's why it's so much better here now. Like, people always were moving to Portland because it's gotten so popular and stuff. But now it's like, people are going to want to come here more, but it's like, it's not a place for everybody, though. Like you were saying. We are different. We are kind of permanently high. So not everybody can live here. Don't come here during the summer and going, oh, this is what it's like all the time? Yeah, the rain's coming in like a month, dude.
Yeah, if you're considering moving to Portland, Oregon, you should do it when I did it, January.
That's what I did as well. And
I moved in January. If you can make it through January, you're going to be fine.
Absolutely.
Hey, we got a call coming in from 602 area code. You're on the air with Toker Talk Radio. What's up?
I just wanted to say I'm completely down for the Weed Factory.
You're down for the Weed Factory?
Oh yeah, I'm down. I'll stay there. I'll work there 24 hours a day.
Hey man, that's the other thing that I'm liking about legalization is the chance for us to create our own businesses, make jobs for all of our friends and stoner pals that don't drug test.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I'll DJ there all the time.
There we go.
You can listen to the Boogaloo and then see me DJ live.
There we go. Electric Bob DJing live at the Weed Factory.
That would be awesome, Bob.
I'm completely down. I was listening to you guys. I'm like, I have to give my 2 cents in on this.
But can you handle though? Because like we're in the midst of about a 3 or 4 month stretch where our weather forecast is gray with a continuing chance of wet, highs and lows in the 40s with occasional wind gusts.
I don't mind. I'm in Phoenix and I absolutely hate the city.
You say that now, but trust me, there are so many people who have to go to the light bars because they can't handle. I mean, the sun's only up for about 6-7 hours.
Yeah, we have light bars. People go and get vitamin D, sunlight, just so they can deal with their affective disorders.
Oh wow! Well, I have I have actually one of those lights in my room because it's getting dark right now, but. If it'll get me out of Phoenix, I'm down. I've been in the city way too long.
Nice.
All right. Well, I keep your ears on because who knows? Maybe dreams do come true.
Take it easy, Russ. Take it easy, Dan.
Right.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks so much. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe someone wants to throw $250,000 my way.
Hey,
anybody got $250,000?
Hey, you did interview Sir Richard Branson. Anything can happen. You got to talk to him, man. Anything can happen.
Sir Richard. Yes, it's Russ. Radical Russ Belville, interviewed in Minneapolis last year. Hello? Hello?
Hey, but anything can happen, though, man. Like
anything can happen.
I mean, did you ever think you get to talk to him? Because that's one of my heroes.
No, that shocked myself.
Yeah,
I was. In fact, it showed. I was very nervous. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back in just a moment.
Jive, marry, grifo, grass, hay. Technically, it's Cannabis sativa, the common name, marijuana. She has found a crutch to see her through her difficulties instead of facing up to them and coping with them. And in time, she may be ready to try something different, something better.
Gateway theory doesn't work. It's a reality.
You can get 420 Radio on the go with the TuneIn Radio app for all mobile platforms. Go to rad-r.us/420TuneIn or just click the TuneIn Radio icon below the live radio feed on 420radio.org. At Herbie's Cannabis Seeds, we pride ourselves on bringing you the best quality seeds from the world's most respected cannabis seed producers, all at the lowest online prices. You can find Herbie's Seeds at herbiesheadshop.com. All cannabis seeds are sold as souvenirs and as a means of preserving cannabis genetics. Herbie Seeds in no way intends to condone, promote, or incite the use of illegal or controlled substances. We strongly urge all prospective customers to check their national laws prior to placing an order. Herbie Seeds at herbiesheadshop.com. Proud sponsors of the Russ Belville Show and 420 Radio.
NORMAL stands for Responsible Adult Cannabis Use. If cannabis use is causing problems in your life, consider taking a break or seeking medical assistance. Consider ceasing cannabis use if you have a family history of mental illness. Don't drive or operate heavy machinery while impaired by cannabis use. Cannabis use is not without risks, even though the risks may be far less than those posed by legal drugs.
When you are starting up a medical cannabis business, you want a fired-up lawyer who understands the needs of cannabis consumers. The law office of Lauren Vasquez is your fired-up lawyer for the cannabis industry. Visit her website, firedupLawyer.com, or call 1-855-MMJ-LAWS for more information. That's 855-665-5297 for Lauren Vasquez, your fired-up lawyer, or email firedupLawyer@gmail.com.
Oh God, have mercy. Oh, Lyman cannot be afraid. Pennsylvania was found and Solomon grave. Being able to mind and leave it.
Barrington Levy and Beanie Man with Under Me Sensi. Some Irie Wednesday music for you. You can always hear a mix of our library of daily Toker tunes at 45 after the hour, every hour from 10 to 2 during our podcast replay blocks. You can check out our entire schedule at 420radio.org/schedule. Radical Russ here hanging out with Bacon Dan over there on that side.
Hello.
Hello, Dan. So, an update on Oregon legalization.
Yes.
When we last left our Oregon district attorneys, some of them were deciding whether or not they're going to go ahead and prosecute pot crimes.
Correct.
That are going to be no longer crimes on July 1st. Multnomah County was the first to say, no, we're not going to do that no more.
Because we rock.
Well, because we passed it with 71%.
Damn right we did.
Right, so, yeah. In fact, this neighborhood here, did you see that interactive map that was up?
Yeah, that was so cool.
This neighborhood here was 75%, and the highest polling neighborhood was 89.9% on East Burnside near Grand.
Oh, that's not surprising.
Yeah, so the East Burnside folks, 90%.
Nice. Way to go, East Burn.
So, Multnomah County DA said, we're not going to prosecute. The pending case we got, we're going to dismiss them. We're not going to prosecute any future cases that would be legal as of July 1st. So basically, it's legal now, or it's not criminal. They're not going to prosecute it. I could have 8 ounces in here and we'd all be cool. Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh, yes.
Then they were followed up by Clackamas County and Washington County. Now, those are the two other suburban counties of Portland.
Correct.
Washington County, and both being a little more conservative.
Yes.
But they still both passed legalization, like 56% for Clackamas and 51% for Washington. I might have those backwards.
Wow, Washington County. I mean, I work in Washington County, so that's not surprising, but this is why I don't go to the burbs, man. Like,
Yeah.
they don't have the same, what's important to us here in Portland, like, fuck it. Why? Like, the burbs are the burbs for a reason.
Yeah, and they're like every other burbs everywhere else.
Yes, but Gresham still sucks.
So Multnomah, Clackamas, and Washington counties have all dismissed the pot charges, aren't going to file any new ones. So that's all the Portland metro area for the most part.
Yes.
Curry County also will dismiss pending marijuana violation cases. But our good friend, Clatsop County District Attorney Josh Markey, says his office will handle pot cases on a case-by-case basis. Quote, "We are not just out of hand dismissing them," end quote, Markey said.
What a dick.
All right, so I'll be devil's advocate here. Perhaps there's an argument to be made that you should review them on a case-by-case basis because, well, perhaps this person who had 2 ounces in their home also had meth.
Right.
And then maybe you're going to prosecute the meth or something. But that seems a little wobbly or fishy to me, even as a devil's advocate on that. So I was wondering, Josh Markey, just how much of a load pot cases are in Clatsop County. Well, the story here in the Daily Astorian tells us from July 2013 to June 30th of this year, so kind of a fiscal year, right?
Right.
Clatsop County's office prosecuted 3 pot cases out of 1,300 cases. And currently, his office is reviewing 6 pot cases. Of the 6 pending cases, Marquis said he will likely only pursue 1. Often, marijuana violations are a lesser crime and are included with larger charges. Marquis said he would be more interested in prosecuting someone for driving under the influence of intoxicants than for marijuana found during a DUI arrest. We've been dialing down marijuana cases over the years. Okay, so he can't give us a clear answer of we're not just out of hand dismissing them all, because he's got this one case he still wants to prosecute.
Oh, God.
What did the guy do? What terrible thing did he do that warrants this kind of attention? I don't know, but,
grasping at straws, like, geez.
Clatsop County passed Measure 91 at 56.75%.
And where is this county?
That's the northwestern tip of Oregon, Astoria.
Hello, Astoria.
Yeah. Goonie's house.
Yeah, it's where Carrie lives, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Wow, so that's... What a dick. Like, you're on the coast, man. Who the fuck cares? It's gray and it's misty there.
Oh, correction. It was 56.47% of the vote, Clatsop County.
So obviously he doesn't speak for the county.
Yeah, and his closing quote here is, in the meantime, he will continue to enforce the law as he sees fit. Quote, the law is the law until it's not the law anymore, end quote.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so this posturing by Josh Marquis, Mr. Tough on Crime. By God, even though the people voted for it and it's going to be legal in 8 months.
Yep.
I'm still going to go after anybody that's breaking the current law. By God. Okay. I still want to know what strain, what variety his wife Cindy Price is going to grow in the garage.
Ooh.
Remember that comment he made in the news?
Yep.
Said my wife would be kind of interested in growing something. Well, let's find out. Find out what she wants to grow.
I just want to give an update and a shout out to anybody who's in the greater New York area right now. The mayor is not going to the tree lighting ceremony now because of the protests. It is getting a little bit dicey there, so anybody in the NYC, please stay safe. We're thinking of you here in beautiful Portland, Oregon.
And remember, it's perfectly legal to film cops as long as you do not obstruct them.
Exactly. Do not allow them to scare you. Just film, man.
Number 2. If your cell phone has a password on it, they need a warrant to get into it. If your cell phone does not have a password on it, they do not. Put a password on your cell phone.
If you have an iPhone 5S, 6 or 6 Plus, make sure you have your thumbprint on there. Only you can access it with your own thumbprint.
Or a cop can hold your arm behind your back and grab your thumb.
Fuck. Don't do the thumbprint. Don't do the thumbprint.
Oh, all right. And some other good news in legalization. A story that came out through the Cannabis is pot legalization actually working? And it cites 3 different articles from fairly mainstream sources showing that what we said would happen actually happened. That if we legalize marijuana, it will hurt the Mexican cartels. How many times do we have to hear Kevin Sabet or Paul Chabot or Scott Gagnon or any of these guys that would say, well, it's only a small part of what they do. They'll still be cartels. They'll still be criminal. Never, ever addressing the point, which is whether it makes the cartels 1%, 10%, or 100%, why do we give them any percent of the marijuana market? Why let criminals run any percent of the market? And then I've actually had some of them that have responded by saying, well, if they're not selling marijuana, they'll just go on to sell harder drugs. Well, there's 2 problems with that. Number 1 is, to whom?
Yep.
Who are you going to sell the coke, the meth, and all that to? There's just not that many coke, meth, heroin users as compared to marijuana users. And 2, are you arguing that we need to keep marijuana illegal so that they sell something less harmful than the other drugs they could sell?
Yeah, like, it's so stupid. Like, especially here in the Northwest, every time we hear in the news, a bundle of Mexican weed was stopped at the border, we're all going, good.
Good.
Mexican ditchweed sucks, man.
Well, here's the news from the Washington Post. Farmers in the storied Golden Triangle region of Mexico's Sinaloa state, which has produced the country's most notorious gangsters and biggest marijuana harvests, say they are no longer planting the crop. Its wholesale price has collapsed in the past 5 years from $100 a kilogram to less than $25. It's not worth it anymore, said Rodrigo Silla, age 50, a lifelong cannabis farmer. I wish Americans would stop with this legalization. End quote.
World's smallest fiddle, right?
Uh-huh.
Or violin, sorry. I'm a little higher now.
National Public Radio.
NPR.
Made in America marijuana is on a roll. More than half the states have now voted to permit pot for recreational or medical use, most recently Oregon and Alaska. That number also includes the District of Columbia. As a result, Americans appear to be buying more domestic marijuana, which in turn is undercutting growers and cartels in Mexico. Quote, 2 or 3 years ago, a kilogram of marijuana was worth $60 to $90, says Nabor, a 24-year-old pot grower in the northwestern Mexican state of Sinaloa. But now they're paying us $30 to $40 a kilo. It's a big difference. If the U.S. continues to legalize pot, they'll run us into the ground. End quote.
Aww.
And then Vice News.
Vice is awesome.
Quote, is it hurting the cartels? Yes, the cartels are criminal organizations that were making as much as 35 to 40% of their income from marijuana. End quote. Retired federal agent Terry Nelson, a former field-level commander who worked to prevent drugs from crossing the southern border, said, quote, they aren't able to move as much cannabis inside the U.S. now, end quote. In 2012, a study by the Mexican Competitiveness Institute found that U.S. state legalization would cut into cartel business and take over about 30% of their market. So, yes, it is working. It is undercutting the Mexican cartels. American marijuana is the finest marijuana on the planet. And the finest marijuana in America is right here in Portland, Oregon.
Damn right it is.
Yeah, I said it.
Like, I mean, we live in Cascadia. There is no bioregion that has a longer growing season than we do right here. We rock. And especially here in the Willamette Valley, it's like fucking amazing. Because, yeah, Seattle's in there too, but fuck Seattle. Portland's better.
Now, Gothic Prophet makes a good comment in the chat room. Screw those poor Mexican farmers who are barely existing growing cartel weed. That is the suck part of this. Is the economy sucks for, you think it sucks for us. Imagine what it sucks for a Mexican farmer.
Right.
And what he used to be getting $100 a kilo for, he's getting $30 a kilo for. That's going to put a lot of them out of business. That's going to make a lot of them, hungry. Yeah, it's going to hurt people. But you can't prop up an economy based on the suffering of others. We shouldn't.
Exactly.
We shouldn't do that. Although there's so many instances where we can point it out. I mean, from getting the heavy metals necessary for an iPhone.
I know.
Everywhere you look, this exists. But to some degree, we've got to say, at what we're not going to lock up our own people so that Mexican farmers have an illegal crop to sell.
Yep.
That doesn't make any sense. What we should be doing is working to ensure that people around us, Canada, Mexico to start, have better economies and don't have a need to have to come into our country. Help everyone, right? Have that rising tide lift all boats kind of attitude. And maybe make the rest of the world a better place too. Something to think about. Something we've always been thinking about here in the cannabis community. And I think now we're finally succeeding in this. I think we've passed the tipping point, and 2016 will be the knockout blow for prohibition. California will be on the ballot. Florida will be on the ballot with medical in some form. Arkansas, Missouri could even be in play. And of course, those northeastern states, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Rhode Island. Some of those states may do it through their legislature.
That'd be awesome.
Very, very cool. It's getting to be now, it feels so inevitable. These legislatures are starting to feel pressure like, hell, if we don't do it, they're going to do it, at least in the initiative states. So it's a good place to be. We'll be here every weekday bringing the highlights and lowlights of legalization to you. 2 hours, starting at 3 p.m. Pacific every weekday with replays at 6 p.m. Also, catch the overnight replays 3 and 6 a.m. Pacific time. For Bacon Dan, I'm Radical Russ. Thanks for joining us. For everyone here at 420radio.org, have yourself a great night. And until next time, take care of each other, tokers.
This is the Russ Belville Show. The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at RadicalRuss.com.